Was working in Barcelona in a 9 to 5, but I was pretty tired, It was like for 10 years doing the same over and over. I was restless, It was super easy for me to decide, honestly.
No, I'm going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to move here and commit, take action. Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Tristan Guerrero, back on Straight to the Point, your host. Today, I'm bringing on a special guest, Juan Gonzales. Yeah. He's moved from Barcelona back in 2019, was in the subway trains industry over in Barcelona for the last 10 years. And now he's here on my podcast, starting out a CEO of Dream Management LLC and real estate property management and more. So Juan, thanks for coming on my podcast show today.
Thank you.
Gremlin Garage, a little interesting vibe here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Let's dive right into it. How did we meet? Where'd you come from? And we'll go right into the episode today.
Yeah, we met in Rich, in Rich's offices, right? In Rich's office.
Yeah, Rich Summers' office, yeah.
Actually, he was recording a podcast for Peace Morby, right?
Yeah, that's right. Pretty cool setup he had there.
Yeah. And I've been in US since 2019, living in LA, California in general. Yeah.
Okay. Are you more of the greater LA area?
I live in Marina del Rey now.
Okay.
I've been always living in West Hollywood area, Beverly Hills, this area. Now I recently moved to Marina. I feel I wanted to be more like in nature around, the beach and more like nature environment. So
nice.
Marina del Rey is nice.
Cool. Well, I'm glad to have you here today.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Let's dive right in. You mentioned that you left your stable 9-to-5 job in Barcelona with the subway train system.
Yes.
And moved across the world over to sunny Southern California. What gave you that confidence to take that kind of risk, and how did you handle the fear of starting over in a different country?
It was actually easy for me to do it. I had an opportunity to come here through a friend that came up being my business partner as well.
Oh.
He was living in US already. He was living in New York, right?
Okay.
And he proposed me to come to US. It was kind of mutual, right? Mutual. I was working in Barcelona in a 9 to 5, but I was pretty tired. It was like for 10 years doing the same over and over. And I really thought I had something inside me, right? I was restless, I was doing the same thing over and over, and I wanted to grow and I wanted to evolve, and it was very difficult, in that environment that I had. I was not bad in kind of I had my friends and very comfortable life. I felt very stuck, right? Was pushing, my friend, and he also kind of it was a combination of, things that aligned. And I just had this opportunity and it was easy. I honestly think that it was very easy for me because as I said, I was also trying to, ask him to come here and everything. And as soon as he said, let's, I want to try in LA what I'm doing in New York right now. So would you like to come and help me out and everything? And I said, yes. It took me maybe 1 week. And then I gave my notice, in my company.
Wow.
And then I quit. I think it was I came before I quit, right? I came, I think, once, to see how everything was and, kind of know more in person how the situation was going to be. And after that, I came back and then I told everyone, I'm quitting and I'm going to US. Yeah.
Wow. That's a big move. Going from your home country to somewhere that you're going to move to very foreign is a huge step.
I feel the feeling of wanted more, right? It was more powerful than just to be there, in Barcelona and feel stuck. I just thought, listen, that time I was thinking, what is the worst thing that can happen, right? The worst thing that can happen, I thought, is that, listen, you go there, you stay for 6 months, right? It doesn't work. You don't like California or US. So then, I can come back and then start again to work in a 9-to-5 job, and that's it. So that was the worst scenario. And in the other side, I was thinking, if I don't do it, I'm gonna be punishing myself all my life, to not try this. It was super easy for me to decide, honestly. It wasn't not hard at all.
Well, why did you feel like it was super easy to say, hey, I'm coming to LA, to California to try something new?
Yeah, because as I said, I was in a mood right that time that, I was trying to improve myself in different aspects of my life. And it was very aligned with my way or with the vision that I had, right? Or the habits that I had to just go to another country. And again, like the worst thing was that maybe it didn't work out and then I had to come back. But in the worst scenario, I'm going to live the experience. I will meet new people. I will be in a different place. I will see different things that what I'm used to do, right? I will learn English, right? So that was the mindset. Like the worst thing is that it's going to be everything good. But if I don't do it, then, I'm going to be like all my life thinking, why I didn't do it, right? So yeah, it was an easy decision.
I actually admire that because, it took me a while to really say, hey, let me actually move to San Diego because that's where I wanted to go.
Okay.
And some people can't just drop everything where they're comfortable and just say, you know what? No, I'm going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to move here and commit, take action, and what my vision really says. So I really do admire that. And I feel like that's where I want people like in my generation to be able to have the courage and confidence to say, hey, follow your dreams, your desires, and not just stay where you're at because you're comfortable,
100%. But once you do that, like once you take the first step and then you go and then you jump with in all this uncertainty, then you see that how you grow. It's impossible to grow the same way doing these kind of moves or changes, if you are in the same place. Like, yeah, you can do some things, you can improve yourself, you can grow, but the difference is, is dramatically. It's like if you do like a big move like that, all the new experiences, new people, new learnings that you are going to be, having is, unbelievable. Yeah.
I love that. I went to school to Menlo College.
Okay.
It's a 4-year undergrad business school, but you'd be surprised with stepping on campus how diverse it is, how many different international students go there.
That's cool.
And people from the area are like, Menlo College, I've never heard of it because it's super small.
Yeah.
But then you step on campus and you're like, you meet people from Italy, from Spain, Portugal, France, everywhere across the world. And where did they hear about this campus, And it was really cool to be able to learn people that have moved halfway around the world, committing their whole life just to go to school here.
Yeah.
And learning their cultures and what they see different versus what's in the U.S. and what I'm used to living through. And I know you guys have it super tough coming in as someone that's international, not as a citizen, put a different perspective in my eyes because you go through way more different steps. You have to work twice as hard in order to make that vision happen too. Did you encounter any roadblocks when?
Yeah, I think it's obviously more difficult, I think, but at the same point, I think it has the upside that because you have to work harder, you learn more as well, and then you are more resilient. You kind of find ways to be more comfortable in uncomfortable situations, and because you need to grow, like there is no, like when you are, right, when I sit back and then I think when I was in Barcelona, right, when you are in your comfort zone, everything is super easy, right? So you don't really need to go through difficult things, right? And that is actually a bad thing, I think, because it made you lazy, right? But when you are in a place that, you need to find the way, like there is no other way because you are yourself, right? And you need to find a way, you need to start making money, you need to learn English, you need to, new people and push yourself.
Right.
Like that is a big upside, that you have when you are in a situation like you said, like you are in a different country, you are, you have to start from scratch, right? It's more difficult, yeah, but at the end of the day, I think it helps, 100%.
Right. And I heard this the other day, actually. One of my business partners, Isaac, we were talking about how entrepreneurs are always constantly in this state of uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
And it makes us realize, like, hey, people think we're crazy because we're always changing our lifestyle or changing our scenario just for the better of our life and our well-being.
Yeah.
It just puts a different perspective from someone that's just going through their 9 to 5. Like,
yeah,
why is this guy doing that? Versus like, let's change something. Let's pivot.
Yeah, 100%.
If it's not working out, right?
100%. Now, I think it's difficult for someone to understand that if you haven't gone through this kind of situations or this lifestyle or, it's difficult, for people to understand. But I think it's the only way that you have to achieve, difficult things, which normally difficult things are worth, the time and the effort and stuff like that. Like normally, easy things are not really good for anything. So
Yeah, sometimes when I
no.
going along with the episode here, Juan,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, when you first got into the U.S., how did you even begin to break into real estate and build your brand from scratch?
Yeah.
With no connections at all, unless you did have some connections.
No, that's a good question. I did not have connections except my friend and business partner at that time. It was actually really helpful to have someone, right, like him.
Nice.
I think it's very important to have anything that you want to achieve in life. Ideally, you have someone close to you that have done it before. It's gonna be much easier and faster because if you have someone that can give you a map, in what is gonna happen or what do you need to do, and when some difficulties or unexpected situations arise, you at least have some kind of support. And you have this map. It's much easier, right? So
Yeah.
I had him as a friend and as a business partner. I started helping him. We were not like a business partners. It was like more, I was working and helping him. But yeah, it was good to have him. Besides him, I did not have any friends or and even less in the real estate industry, right? And it was difficult to start because I didn't speak good English at all. Like my English maybe was like in a scale from 0 to 10, it was like a 2. So it was not good at all. So, and it's difficult, to start something from scratch when you are coming from Spain. You don't speak English, right? And you don't have any credibility or nothing that you can show to people, right? So I think the first 3 to 4 years for me were very difficult. After that, because you are gaining skills and everything is compounding, right? I feel like the curve, increases a lot. Like I felt like in the last 2 years, it's been much better for everything that I do. Like I can do it faster and I learn a lot. So I have, more skills and it's easier for me. The beginning, it was difficult, especially to know, to start, opening ways with new connections. It was very difficult,
The language barrier for sure. Like, how long did it take you to learn English? Your English sounds pretty good right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I try. I think it took like to start kind of communicating okay and having conversations like maybe 2 years, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Like I think to get a decent level, I think 2 years. Yeah.
Wow. Because I know from just talking with other international students back in college, they all told me that, man, I come to America, I have to conform to the culture here, or else I'm going to be called out for all my actions, or no one's going to want to connect with me, like what you said. So being able to adapt and work twice as hard, going back to that point, as someone that's international to the U.S. It's a lot more than just getting your citizenship. It's adapting to your environment too.
You need to go through so many different, difficult things and things that you don't know, right? So as you said, you need to find a way, for different things that you haven't, even get your driver license, get your, a place to live, and everything is new, right? So something that now maybe take for me, it's like this, super quick because I already know everything. At the beginning, it takes more time, and you need to go around and ask people, and you don't know, and then you mess up, and then it's a lot. So that's what I mean. At the beginning, it's very difficult, but if you need to be aware, and just understand that it's a process, and it's gonna get easier as you go through it, right? But at the beginning, it's gonna be hard, like everything.
Totally. Just going on with the podcast here. I really admire your lifestyle transformation that you were telling me about. Yeah. I think it's amazing. What you were telling me. You told me, you said you dropped some serious weight and shifted your mindset a lot since moving over here into the U.S. How did fitness and self-development really play a role in building your business?
Yeah, I think it's super important, right? And for me, it helped me a lot to gain confidence. It was before I came. I used to weigh 240, 250 pounds, right? Before. So I lost almost 100 pounds. And yeah, I will show you a photo later. And yeah, I think it's super related because it's the same, right? It taught me the process, right? To get difficult things, right? I feel once you have gone through a process like that once, I think it's a big achievement, right? Because I changed my life I changed my mindset. I had to change all my habits. Everything changed for me, right? I was a completely different person, right? So once you achieve a big milestone like that, once, I think you change your mindset and your beliefs, and then you start thinking that you are capable of doing very difficult things, right? What teaches you something like this is that you can do different things. Everything is going to be kind of the same process, right?
Totally.
Building a business, the same process. Like you have to go through a process that is uncomfortable, do difficult things, stuff like that. You can do the same process is going to be exactly forever. Like learning English, learning a difficult skill, sales, whatever you want to do, right? It's always the same process, right? So it was very good for me. Like it changed my life, and now I don't see like it's part of my identity, right? Like to be healthy and going into the gym every day and working out and having a life with energy and it's part of my life. I cannot see myself without doing,
Right.
Every day, this lifestyle or having this lifestyle every day. So yeah, it's very aligned, with my business as well and everything. So,
Totally. Now I'm curious. When you go to the gym, what's kind of your routine?
Yeah.
On an average morning.
I do 2 days off, 1 off. Like always. It doesn't matter if it's Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Like I do 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off.
Nice.
Which by doing that is like I'm doing like a frequency 2, right? So I do the same muscle at least twice per week. I feel that's very good. It was very good for me, right? And the day when I don't work out, when I don't do lifts, right? Or when I don't lift, sorry, I do 10,000 steps every day. So
nice.
that's every day. So even though I don't go to the gym, I do my steps every day.
Have you ever thought of like running and going for runs?
You know what? I'm not that really fan of running, right?
Yeah.
I also my knees. Now I'm almost 40, right? So my knees, I start feeling my knees and stuff. So I need to be very, very careful. Like more for longevity,
I always have to ask her because I'm a big runner myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I started in high school, went into college for running, and I'm still trying to keep running going.
Okay.
It's a part of me now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And do you have any pain or anything that you feel, or you are very young though, but any injury or anything?
The most major injury I've had was actually I sprained my ankle when I was going just for a double run through Atherton and down the street from Palo Alto.
Okay.
Just wasn't looking where I was going and stepped on a broken piece of asphalt and then boom, that was my season. Wow. I know. And that, other nicks and pains just from going through the motions, going through the sport, competing.
Okay.
I mean, with anything, you're going to feel the pain. Mm-hmm. Some injuries arise, but nothing major. Maybe hamstring. Okay. Maybe something ankle, foot.
Okay.
But how do you maintain your body to still perform at that high level?
100%. And it's very good for your mind.
Yeah. So, but even being able to have the resources of sports med and sports performance to help supplement with running does help that people don't think about in running.
Yeah, that's true. Like, do you run every day now? Or?
I've been trying to get back to running like 5-6 days a week.
That's
because I'm trying to train for a triathlon by September. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's cool. That's super cool.
So now adding 2 more sports on top of running. It's a little interesting.
And what about that swimming is pretty tough? Like biking is okay, and running, if you are been running, like it might be kind of easier for you, but the swimming is kind of difficult, right?
For most people, I found, yeah. Okay. I actually grew up a swimmer.
Okay.
For USA Swimming.
Okay.
Where I competed year round.
Okay.
And there was this huge transition where I started and I just stopped loving the sport of swimming.
Okay.
It made me transition to running and I actually fell in love with the sport.
Okay.
Found a lot of success and it was a reason why it brought me to where I'm at today.
Okay.
My livelihood. So
that's cool.
Whenever I get a chance, I try to get people out to go run, That's my thing. Anyway, going along here, I know a lot of people in 20s and 30s, kind of like myself, feel stuck between playing it safe and chasing something bigger. What advice would you have for someone that's scared to break away from so-called the safe route?
My biggest regret in life is that I didn't start earlier, right? I didn't take risks earlier. People sometimes, when we say risks, they think it's something bad, right?
Right, yeah.
It's not correct. Like, to be successful in life, you need to take risks. It doesn't mean that you need to go crazy and, and just move to another country without knowing anyone or anything, or not having some money on the side. Or you need to take calculated risks in life. In your 20s, I think you have 2 choices, right? I see the 20s with 2 choices. You have the choice of just enjoy life, right? And try different things and going out and, do what normally people in their 20s do, right? Or you have the choice to sacrifice your 20s, take risks, learn, improve yourself, right? And have a plan for your 30s, you are going to be getting older, right? You are going to be able to be more comfortable, right? I feel if you don't sacrifice your 20s, right? Work hard, right? And improve yourself, you are going to be sacrificing the rest of your life. For me, as I said, like I really regret, that I did not start earlier. And I could advise you, like everyone, in their 20s, that work hard, sacrifice things that are not really important, because, you can enjoy it later, right? But if you start in your 20s, proving that's going to be compounding so much. And also, I feel in your 20s it's easier because you learn faster, you retain more information, you don't have that bad beliefs, right? As when you are in your 30s or so. So it's much easier, so, and you have more time as well. Like if you mess up, then you can start again easier, right? So
Totally.
You can take more risks when you have more time as well, right? So 100%. I think if you don't do it, like you will regret, later because I think a lot. I think a lot about that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I talk to a lot of people like my age, and they have all these big dreams. Like,
So
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
How old are you right now?
I'm 23.
Oh, yeah, super young.
I've talked about coming to San Diego, and my friend's been trying to get me down here. I'm like, shoot, I got to start now. I got to move now. Because if I don't do it now, when is the right time? There is no right time, right?
Correct.
So you got to start now, because there's no right time other than now.
Correct.
To start,
And what do they say? Like, what do your old friends and your old family, like your previous environment, because now you left everything there, right? And now you are here yourself. And
Totally.
What do they like? Did they support you? Some of them yes, some of them no. Like,
no, of course. Like my family supported me,
That's
but
good.
are
That's
definitely sad that I left.
Yeah, I don't understand.
They just want to make sure they see stability in my life.
That's good.
And they look out for the best.
That's good.
Of course, like what you say, you take the risk, you get unstable, but you figure out a way to navigate and get out of that.
Yeah.
And now a lot of people that started where I'm at now, and they're at here, while I'm still here, they definitely started where I was at today, and I'm curious, like, man, from where you started to where you're at, with what you know now, what would you advise someone starting off, trying to see through all the thick and thin, all the ups and downs of the roller coaster?
Yeah.
How do you keep going when that the light at the end of the tunnel is eventually going to come?
I think you are doing what you need to do, right? I feel jealousy because I would, love to start with like in my 20s, like
Right.
you. I think it's the best thing that you can do right now is do what you are doing, right? I think it's difficult to see because you don't know, like it's like you don't really know, right? What is going to happen and this and that. But what you can know, and especially if you have someone that, as I said, like have been going through this process before you, right? Is that if you put what you need to put, right, which is, your time, your effort, your work, you work on it, right? Put in your habits, do what you need to do, what is under your control, right? Is like no one knows if you are gonna get where you want to get, but I can tell you that if you do it, right, what you need to do in a daily basis, the odds and the probability that you get there is very high. Something that you don't see and it's impossible to see neither, right? But I've seen it so many times and it happened to me and it still happens to me and I see people that are very successful that happen to them, right?
Right.
That is that you start preparing yourself and improving yourself and something is going to happen, like you are going to know someone in your way that is going to make you it's going to help you, right? Some things are going to happen through this process, right? That are going to help you to get there, right?
Yeah.
And you don't see that. It's impossible to see it, but yeah, it happens, but you need to be prepared, you need to prepare yourself and opportunities are going to come. That's very difficult to see and to even understand, especially if you are young, because you don't even have also the experiences, because you are 23, yeah. So for you is like even thinking in 5 years, right? It's a lot. Like you can think, wow, 5 years from now, this is going to be like crazy.
Yeah.
But then you're going to see that 5 years is like this, and,
right.
And you need to start thinking more like, okay, what can I achieve in the next 5 years, right? 3 to 5 years, right? If I work hard every day and, things are going to happen.
Totally. Totally. That's exactly what my dad told me actually yesterday.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, just make sure like every decision you make, you're looking out the next 2, 3,
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
Is it going to benefit you?"
100%.
It's
I
an
regret.
investment.
Yeah. I regret to not think more in that way too, like thinking more in the long term than in the short term. Because that's 100%, as your dad told you, is the way to think.
Totally. Now going into, did you join Rich's mastermind too as well?
Yeah,
in the boutique hotel side?
I'm in the boutique hotel.
Okay.
Yes.
Totally. So I did see that you joined his mastermind, which is another huge move. Now, what made you believe you were ready for it, and how did you approach it differently versus the average investor? Just looking at it from a third person point of view.
Yeah. No, I think like knowing that you are ready is like you cannot know, like you are not never 100% ready for anything.
No. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So you need to take some kind of risk. So that's one risk. Is I know that is the step that I have to take. Is another stepping stone that I have to take. Knowing what I know, and working as I've been working, and I know that being surrounded by people that are in where I want to be, and it's gonna be much faster to go through this way than just going blind and not knowing what to do and everything. So being around people that have been doing what I want to do, right, and be in the business for years, and like Rich that has I don't even know how many hotels he has now, but
Yeah.
it's very good. Like you are gonna be like I'm gonna be much faster, right? So yeah, it's just it was the right decision. So yeah, I'm very happy. It's a cool group, very very nice people, very active people. Everyone is also pretty aligned, with my values too and what I want in life. So yeah, no, it's very cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. So what made you think why boutique hotels over residential or do short-term rentals, Airbnbs versus maybe commercial? You could have taken that avenue. Like why boutique hotels?
I've been in the property management for like these 6 or 7 years, right? I see the short. I like hospitality. I like the hospitality industry. I'm seeing it because I have some short-term rentals, and I see that cities are getting very strict, right?
No, totally.
We have short-term rentals in Palm Springs, Miami, in Arizona, and LA, and you see cities are getting very strict. There are so many people also doing it. So I see Airbnb is gonna, like, long term is gonna be more for unique stays, right? Kind of special houses outside, like very very unique stays. But I don't see Airbnb as it was working before. Any kind of apartment or house, that was working now is getting very difficult, right? There's so much competition. Cities are getting very strict. So I see it as a natural transition for me to go to the boutique hotel, right? Industry is very similar to short-term rentals, but I think, you can create a unique experience as well. I can combine the knowledge that I have from the short-term rentals, into the boutique hotels because it's very similar. Yeah, it's just a natural transition, and I feel I'm very comfortable in that industry as well. I have, all the knowledge and everything, so it made so much sense for me.
I understand, like it's like in your blood to be in hospitality, help people in that sense. But with hotel investing, it's totally different than investing in short-term rentals and Airbnbs, right? What do you feel like is the main differences and challenges that you face between the two?
Commercial real estate is kind of different than residential real estate, right? That's one point. I see also in terms of operations, there are some differences as well. Yeah, I see more like in the kind of structure that you do in the boutique hotel, right, industry, in terms of, what kind of loans you get and the financing. Like all the commercial, is very different, right, in some aspects. That part, is what I'm learning right now. It's cool, I like it. You have to be more careful, right, because it's a huge investment, right?
Right.
You most likely are like, we don't have to raise money, from different people and get investors and stuff like that. So you are not just playing with your money, you are also playing with people's money, right?
Yeah.
So you need to really be careful, be very conservative, right? When you find a deal, choose very, good the deal and really, really, really careful. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I mean, they're each its own different beast, so you're
Yes.
gonna have to navigate it a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, as we're kind of wrapping up the episode here, Juan, I did
Okay.
have one last question.
Okay.
What would you say are 3 habits or 3 mindset shifts that completely changed your life and that you wished every young entrepreneur watching here would start doing now?
Yeah. So number 1 is reading. I think reading changed my life dramatically, because especially if you are not coming from an environment where you can find role models of people that like people that have achieved what you want to achieve, it's very difficult to have the mindset that you need, right, to achieve these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, reading is a way to see and get different perspectives from people that have achieved what I want to achieve, right? And it's super powerful. Like, you can find a book now that it's from someone that, I don't know, that have built a business, and he spent 20, 30 years building, a amazing business. And you can read, and see all the mistakes that he or she made in hours. You can get all this knowledge, right? It's unbelievable for me. So it's super powerful. Reading definitely changed my life. It's also good, to see, like, there is a quote that says, so you can learn from your mistakes, right?
Right.
But the trick is to learn from others' mistakes. So you don't need to do it, right? So you move faster. What a good book can give you besides the change of mindset, right? So
What's your favorite book?
I have several, but I could say,
That's the one that got you going and
I
you always
mean,
go back to.
yeah, I think How to Make Friends and Influence People.
Oh, by Dale Carnegie.
That's a very good one.
Yeah.
I think that book, everyone should read that book, at least once. I like also Meditations of Marcus Aurelius.
Okay, yeah.
That's a very cool one too. It's super good. But yeah, for sure, How to Make Friends, and Influence People. That is a very good one, and it's actually very easy to read. It's super cool because it explains it puts you examples of people, successful people, from the past, and what they were doing and how to, connect with people. And that book is amazing for sales, for business, for for relationships, like normal relationships.
Right.
It's a very good one. The second thing, I think, is like surround yourself with people that are where you want to be, right?
Totally.
Proximity is power, 100%. And if you are in a place where you don't have access to these kind of people, right, you need to move, like what you did, right? So if you move or you change your life because you wanted to be close by from rich and from people, right, that are where you want to be, that's super important, because again, like, you are going to talk to them, you are going to see a different reality, you are going to see that it's possible, right? If you are not around these people, it's very difficult to even believe that is possible.
Right.
And sometimes even your family, or your friends, right, they put limits, right? And it's very difficult. It's like you are climbing a mountain and you have a big bag, right? You are carrying.
Yeah.
So definitely that's super
Right,
important.
lessen the weight of that bag so you can climb that mountain faster, right?
Correct. And then you climb that mountain and then you don't see, but then there is another bigger mountain, right? So you need to climb and climb and climb. And it's always, changing your environment and going, moving forward with, different people that align with that way. Last one, I think, is to make more than you spend, right? And invest the difference.
Totally.
So by doing that, you are going to be 90% ahead of the curve, So if you start in your 20s, that's going to be compounding, right? You are going to be building a habit, right? That is going to be super powerful, because you are going to have that inside you and it's going to be part of your identity. So again, like, you start in your 20s, you are going to put some money on the side. It's not going to be a lot because you are just starting and you need to make money and live and everything.
Totally.
But you have to limit your expenses, right? Put some money on the side, and it's just to building this habit. And then when you start and you keep going and going and going, then at some point you are gonna see, wow, this is growing so much because the compounding, right, effect.
Totally.
So I wish I would start earlier too. Yeah.
Was there an investment that you would recommend for someone, or does it vary based on your situation?
Yeah, I think when you are young, you can take more risks for sure.
Totally.
But I think for me, it's very simple, and I like simple things, and real estate, stock market, and crypto. Just putting some money on these three things.
Totally.
Because maybe sometimes the real estate is gonna crash, it's gonna go down, and this and that. So you have the stock market. Same with the stock market. Then you have the crypto. So yeah, like money, like real estate, obviously for me, and I work on this, so it's the best, right? Also for the taxes strategy that you can save money and the stuff, right? For sure. But I like to put some money also, in the stock market and crypto, just in case, you never know what can happen to the real estate. So then you have, some safety net on the side, and don't need to go crazy, just put some money there. Same with crypto, crypto is like, so volatile, but at least some money. I like crypto, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So some money there, and you just leave it there, and it's going to be growing. So.
I know I've been told this by my generation, like white real estate, I don't have enough money to invest in it. I'd rather just make money online and from home, so I don't have to put in as much work, but also just invest in crypto in the stock market where I don't have to leave home. What would you tell that group to try to motivate them to say, like, hey, your real estate is still a great investment to diversify in?
Well, number one is because it's something that you have that is going to be always there. Like cryptos, I believe in cryptos, right? And I believe in Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't believe in all the other stuff. I don't even know what is there, right? I really believe in these two. And I think it's good, and it's going to be good with the stock market. But listen, like a stock market, there are so many companies that maybe tomorrow they don't exist anymore, right? And this building is been here for forever, or this land, right? So this is going to be always here, and you are going to always, or people are going to always need a place to live, right? So you have a piece of land that is going to be always needed for someone to live, and that's going to be giving you cash flow, right? Always. The difference with crypto and stock market is that, number one, you don't have the cash flow, right? Because it's going to be increasing value and everything, but you don't have recurrent cash flow, right? So what if it goes down, right? At some point that you cannot withdraw anything, right? So you don't have that cash flow. On the other hand, with real estate, you are rented out your place, you are going to have always cash flow coming in. And last thing is about taxes, like a huge advantage that you have with real estate is that you are going to can depreciate the asset. So you are going to be, getting this tax benefit, right? To have that on the side. So even though you have a business and you are making money in your business, good money, right? By having some real estate on the side, you are going to be able to minimize, the taxes.
Totally.
100%.
Well, that's a lot of great nuggets there, Juan. I appreciate that. I do appreciate you coming out today. We met in the middle.
Yeah.
I came from North County, San Diego. You came from Marina Del Rey. So it was a great little meeting in Costa Mesa here.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming out.
Well,
again,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. And it was super cool.
Let's tell the audience where we can find you.
I have my Instagram, I'm not really a fan of Instagram, but it's Manels77, right? Okay. And I'm building now the Instagram for the company and the YouTube soon. So
Cool. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Tristan.
And you guys, thank you for tuning in for this episode of Straight to the Point. I'm your host, Tristan Guerrero. This is the man,
thank you,
Juan Gonzales, and we'll catch you guys next time.